Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a very special one. Finally, I'm going to test out this Hourglass Snake palette. This is this year's limited edition ambient light sculptural edit palette. So this palette was on like a glitch or something. Originally, it's for like $90 or something. I got it for like 45, I think 50% off. And this is how the palette actually looks. It comes with 6 shades. So let me show you the shades. I'm pretty sure you've already seen it. This is the deepest version of the palette. So I definitely wanted to test this out because I do have another Hourglass palette, which is a quad, and it is much lighter than this. So I wanted to see how deep it can go. And I have used this prior to today, and I must say I'm loving this, especially for my medium tan skin tone. I'm absolutely loving it. So we're going to first swatch this and put it on our face and see how it looks. So let's start off with the powder. And this powder, I don't know the names. Yeah, the first one is the finishing powder in Radiant Light. So let me show you. It's pretty much the same tone of my skin. I don't even know if you can see it or not. It's like one swipe that I did there. And then comes a blush, which is in Coral Haze, which is that marbleized blush. I can see berry, I can see pink. So let's see how that rolls. So that is the second product. And then we have the highlighter of the palette, which is in the shade. It's a metallic strobe powder in the shade Infinite Strobe Light. And this appears very nicely on my skin, I would say. And it is super blinding too. There you go. Definitely has that, you know, the coppery effect to it. It's like a pinky copper shade. Right there. And then we have another warm tone blush, which is in the shade Sunbeam. Again, it's a marbleized blush. It's more like an orangey copper tone blush with pink shimmer running throughout it. It's definitely not matte. It's glowy for sure. So that's the fourth blush. And the fifth shade is another blush, which is another pinky tone blush. And this one is in the shade Mystic Flush. Looks very similar to the first blush, the pink blush. So let's see. But when I swatch it, this one is definitely more pink. This is more coral. I hope you can see the difference. And last, certainly not the least, we have the bronzer of the palette. And this is the deepest bronzer. This is in the shade Solar Bronze. So let's watch that. All these palettes do come with a mirror too. There you go. And that's like a perfect bronzer stone for me. So those are the shades that we are playing with today. I've definitely used that orangey blush on my face before, and it works beautifully. I'm more going off, after this video, I'm going to record a cooler tone pink look. So I'm going to lean more towards the pinky tones today, but we'll see. We're going to use everything else. So let's start off. I have reference number 4. I'm going to take this with my finishing powder. And I'm just going to set my concealer that I applied. I only have my foundation and my concealer on, nothing else. So let's just set the center of the face with this powder. And of course, I do have a lipstick too. And I'm using the Maybelline Ultimate Lipstick in the shade More Mocha. So that's the finishing powder. It sets very nicely. It doesn't look like a powder. It's really good. Okay, now let's take the bronzer of the palette and see how that rolls. Just loading the brush. See, it gets how beautifully it warms up my face. I really love that. The tone of bronzer is really good. So you can see the difference of this where I've applied the bronzer and where there's no bronzer. It gives a beautiful warmth, not being too much, but it's like a healthy sun-kissed look. Really, really pretty. Okay, now let's take the blush. What blush are we gonna take? Let's take that marbleized pink blush and let's apply it on the cheek. I'm taking a very fluffy brush, so it's not gonna be too pigmented, but you can definitely see it too. Let's apply the other pink blush, the coral blush, on the other side. So that's the difference. This is the pink blush and this is the coral blush. I definitely can see more punchiness here. So I'm just going to take my finishing powder. I often do this. And I just go over the center of my face just to diffuse the edges of the blush. And now let's take a highlighter brush and dip into the highlighter of the palette. Look how beautiful that is. Definitely loving the vibes of this palette. Much more user-friendly for a medium tan skin tone, I would say. The other one also performed really well. The other palette that I had from Hourglass was this Sculpture Edit palette. And this was the palette. Let me show you side by side. The Sculpture Edit, the quad, was definitely much more lighter in cool tone. And this goes definitely much more warmth. There's no repetition of shades here. But you can see how deep this palette goes. And the blush is different, the highlighter is different, the finishing powder is different, the bronzer is different. So that's why I went for that blush, this palette, rather than going for like the Tiger palette, which would have also worked out pretty well for me. So that's all. You can see how my face looks. I really loved how everything performed on my face. I'm not going to finish off my eyes just because I want to do another video. So you have to excuse me for that. And this palette, I definitely give it a 2 thumbs up. If you can get it for a sale, which I generally do all like promote the sales on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, definitely do that. It's Smithy Sony, and you can definitely see all the deals that are coming. This palette, I'll give it a 2 thumbs up, especially for that tan skin tone. I really love it. I've used all the shades of this palette and everything works absolutely beautifully. So this definitely is a big hit for me. So that's all for today, guys. If you did like this video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.